should be 100% of the black people should vote for Trump, because I did more for black people than any president other than Abraham Lincoln. It's true. It's true. I did more than any president other than Abraham Lincoln. Think of it, criminal justice reform. I took care of the black colleges and universities. They would come up to Washington after 3 years. They said, "Why do you guys keep coming back?" One of them, I got friendly with some of them, really good people. They said, "Every year we come back looking for money." They do a great job. Black colleges and universities, they have very little money. And then you look at Harvard and these maniacs, and they have billions and billions of dollars. Very unfair. We're going to have to look into that whole situation. We're going to have to. And Elise did a very good job when she destroyed that person.
I'm kind of glad fat ass Roland Martin played this video, because he did fund HBCUs to keep their funding rolling. And y'all see what's going on with Harvard, right? So, yeah, thanks for this video, fat ass Roland Martin. You hypocrite ass nigga.
I think did she plagiarize every document she ever wrote? I think so. The only thing she had going for her was nice glasses, if you like that look. No, Elise did a fantastic job. We all know that. She was amazing, and it really revealed what they were all about. But I took care of the black colleges, universities, opportunity zones.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to go reverse order. Opportunity zones. Straight line. There is absolutely no data that exists that shows opportunity zones greatly benefited African Americans. In fact, one of the Baltimore pastors who stood with Donald Trump when it was announced came on this show 6 months later and blasted them, saying it hasn't been working. Now, Senator Tim Scott, he's been running around touting opportunity zones as well. No data, no numbers, no economic numbers, no jobs, no nothing, just them saying, oh, we did a great job. Then you hear him talk about criminal justice reform. The dollars that are now guaranteed for HBCUs, right, because the benevolent benefactor, Daddy Trump, actually made it possible. About $250 million for Hispanic serving institutions.
Everybody together. That includes $85 million.
Now, first of all, for people who don't know, how many HBCUs are there?
So we're talking about 101, 102 HBCUs.
Okay. So, boy, that's great. We feel great.
Who brought the most money in for historically black colleges and universities? Donald Trump. Who's the president?
What you have there is 9 seconds of him lying to a mostly white audience, and they like, oh boy, that's great. We feel great. That's a black face lying to them. We played you one clip earlier. Here's Donald Trump lying again when he spoke to Turning Point.
I funded the colleges and black colleges and universities. Nobody else did that. Nobody else even thought of it. And what we're doing.
All right. So now when that clip went out, Walter, you really got pissed off right there. I mean, you were really upset when you said that, as if he was the first person ever to fund HBCUs.
That was just so crazy to me, because HBCUs have received federal funding since 1965, and then the other lie they tell on top.
This was the graphic that you actually posted right here, y'all, and you said they've been getting money since 1966.
So you got them getting that money, and then the other part of that lie is that, well, he's the first to have a White House initiative. No, Jimmy Carter did that. Jimmy Carter, I got to stand up for Georgia because I'm from Atlanta. Jimmy Carter did it. He had HBCU presidents all there. I think they were in the Rose Garden when he created the whole program. So, but they're clapping. People just like, he said, I'm the first to ever think about funding these schools.
Has signed a bipartisan bill that permanently funds HBCUs. The bill provides more than $250 million to these universities and others that serve minority students. This bill, most known for simplifying the FAFSA that determines financial aid for these students.
Still leaving a lot to desire, but to understand what is in the executive order, let's talk to the person who actually played a significant role in getting it done. Omarosa Manigault, who of course is a special assistant to the president. Omarosa, good morning.
Good morning, Roland. Good morning, all the listeners.
So first and foremost, what is actually in the executive order? What is different? What has changed?
Well, Roland, I'm so glad that you asked because I've been hearing people report about what's in the order. And to my knowledge, the only people who have had a chance to actually see the final one, myself, the president, of course, the staff secretary. So let's go through what's in it as opposed to what is rumored to be in it and not in it. First and foremost, an executive order is a directive given by the president to federal employees, agencies, agency heads, department heads, and secretaries. So this is not a directive to Congress. We don't have that executive power to do that, but it tells the agencies what the president wants to get done and how he wants to do it. And so the first and most important point to make is that this president has done this within the first 40 days of his presidency, making action for historically black colleges and universities as priorities. The first thing we did, and you've heard a lot about this, so let's start there. We've moved the executive director from 3 tiers down, which is where Barack Obama had the director in the Department of Education, who had to report to 3 other people before the Secretary of Education ever heard what he had to say. So that executive director will be housed and sitting in the White House as a part of the senior team that advises what's happening with HBCUs. Why is that important? That's important because we don't have to go through 4 tiers of bureaucracy to find out what's happening with our students in historically black colleges and universities. That person has direct access to the senior team, senior advisors, and affecting the policies that will affect how we improve the conditions of historically black colleges and universities. That's huge. The second thing that we did, and I think probably the most important thing, is to require each agency, each single agency head, to allocate funds, support, and personnel to historically black college and university initiatives. Now, right now, I believe that the former administration had liaisons. They had other jobs to do. In addition to their other jobs to do, they had the title of HBCU liaisons. The individuals that we will have will strictly work on historically black college and university initiatives. The other thing that I'm most excited about is convening the annual summit, but having that White House summit here in the White House. That never happened during the last 8 years. That's going to happen for the first time
Omarosa?
in this White House.
I got a statement from the UNCF. They talked about what was included in it and what was not.
Well, they don't know. Wait, let me stop you before you even read that statement. UNCF does not have the document that's in front of me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then.
It's speculative.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
I'll listen to your statement.
No. It's not a statement.
The final one.
No, just a question.
Okay.
It's just a question.
Sure.
They said that they wanted committing an aspirational goal for HBCUs to be awarded 5% of total federal grant, internship, and cooperative agreement funding, and 10% of total federal contract funding awarded to colleges and universities, which would nearly double federal support to HBCUs, and backing up the federal funding goals with concrete commitments for annual funding growth at each federal agency reflected in agency budgets. Is that in the executive order?
The executive order does not, as you know, that's not the role of the executive order, nor do we have the power to do that. That's in the budget, and you know how government works. We're still right now negotiating the budget, and the official budget will not even be presented for the next 30 days. So I think that's understanding how the process works. We direct what the president's priority is, and then the budget process that's going on right now will determine that funding. But of course, I requested more than 5% for increases in these programs. I think that having gone to 3 black colleges, I know for a fact that 5% is not enough. So I appreciate their submission of 5%, but I believe that we need a 7 to 9% increase in those programs.
Speaking of
and we'll be portioning for those increased fundings from my end.
Speaking of going to HBCU, Howard University is one of them. I'm joined right now by Greg Carr, Director of Afro-American Studies Program at Howard University. Dr. Carr,
Trump is racist,
your
though.
thoughts about this executive order?
Well, yeah, Miss Menego, and we know that this is
Hey,
not.
Dr. Carr, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you as well. Yes, we know, of course, that this isn't unusual. Ever since Jimmy Carter, we've seen these executive orders. I have one very specific question as it relates to what Roland you were asking relative to the UNCF suggestions, and that involves Pell Grants, particularly the UNCF's urging to simplify to restore, increase, and protect Pell Grants. And I know that President Walter Kimbrough of Dillard University said
wait,
that.
let me stop before you ask too many questions.
No, that's it. I was just saying the Pell Grant issue. Could you take that up?
Let's start with Pell Grants because I was so saddened by the decision of the previous administration, not just to change Pell Grant lending,
Talking
Black
about
student parent plus
Obama.
loans.
Obama
Wait.
to
I'm
pump
not
up
bashing.
Trump.
No. Let's be very clear. I have to give you the data
You
so
gotta
that
keep
you
it
know.
real,
Don't cut me
homie.
off because I need to finish my statement. I have to
He
give you
getting
the
his
data so that
feelings.
you know the changes
Like
that
a
we
little
made.
bitch.
Like you said, this is not a new initiative. But why would we need to do in the first 30 days?
No,
what
not
Barack did not
Obama.
do
I'm
for the last
asking you.
8 years?
I'm asking you about what you all are going to do.
The changes for Pell Grants affected 128,000 students at HBCUs. The decision to change Parent Plus loans resulted in 128,000 students to have to drop out
Absolutely.
of HBCUs. Don't take my word. Google.
No.
Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. Hold up 1 second. 1 second. No. I know. But Omarosa, hold on. That 128,000 dropping out, that is not a number that I am familiar with. No. Omarosa, the number that I have received from the Thurgood Marshall Fund, from UNCF, and from others, that the number has 28,000. Tom, you had a question, I believe. Go ahead, Tom.
But
I just said, why do you have to boost?
Omarosa,
historically black college and university?
hold tight 1 second. Tom,
Students, and it's unacceptable.
Tom, go ahead.
Why do you have to bash Obama
Listen to him,
boost
man.
Trump?
Right.
Because what he did to black colleges is shameful. It's shameful that black students had to drop out of school because that previous administration didn't care enough to know that if you cut Pell Grants, if you cut Parent Plus loans, you would affect the attendance, the quality of education at black colleges. And nobody wants to
tell me what you're going to do about Pell Grants.
Tom, wait. No one wants to call out what the previous
Chill,
administration
Uncle Tom.
did.
Actually, hold up, Omarosa, hold on 1 second.
They jumping a woman, man. That's crazy.
Let me be clear, Omarosa.
That's
On
crazy.
this show, on TV One and the Tom Joyner Morning Show, we were extremely critical. Tom wrote letters and met with the president directly. So you can't tell this audience that no one was critical when we were leading the voice of challenging the administration when it came to Pell Grants. Now, Tom asked the question. Tom asked the question.
They jumping the sister. That's crazy.
No, hold up. Tom asked the question, will this administration advocate in its budget to restore what the UNCF and others are asking for Pell Grants?
Absolutely. You know how much unclaimed Pell Grant money went? Can I mention the last 8 years, or no, that's not allowed?
No,
it's because
go ahead.
Unclaimed Pell Grant lets you know how difficult the previous administration made for students to get the Pell Grant. So there's a ton of unclaimed Pell Grant money. So yes, not only are we going to restore the Pell Grant program so that it's not so difficult, the criteria aren't impossible for students to get the education that they need, Roland. It is, to me, baffling that people do not recognize the high numbers. When I looked at the numbers of Pell Grant fund that was left over from the previous administration because of those restrictions, absolutely we're going to lift that. And students will be able to fund their education at historically black colleges and universities.
When will
we do better for black college students? Trust me.
Well,
now they won't talk about this, the fat ass Roland Martins, the Jasmine Crockett's, all those old house niggas that's out there capping for the Democratic Party. They won't do no video on this because they're here to cause mass confusion towards the peoples. You understand me? But here it is. If Donald Trump is so racist, why is he signing an executive order for the HBU colleges, you black hypocrite ass niggas, and y'all ain't gonna do no video and talk about it, are y'all? Still gonna slander the man with foolishness. Let's go.
Your first administration, you made promoting historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, a major priority. This executive order takes existing law on HBCUs and brings it into effect. We're going to be setting up a White House initiative on HBCUs. The basic idea here is making sure that every aspect of your administration is working to ensure that HBCUs are able to do their job as effectively and as efficiently as possible.
Okay.
Nah, don't sign it. You racist. You don't like black folks. Don't sign it, Trump. That's what they said, right? Hypocrite ass niggas. There it is.